So ain't nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the fuck one of you.
Hello, Nelly's name is blowing up again, and this time, it's not because of a new hit or a viral dance move. The St. Louis legend who once ruled the airwaves and turned hip-hop into a global party anthem just sparked chaos online after performing at Donald Trump's Liberty inaugural ball in January 2025. Yeah, that Trump. The second the footage dropped, the internet went wild. Fans couldn't believe their eyes. This was the same Nelly who once said he didn't support Trump during his first presidency. So when clips surfaced showing him hyping the crowd at Trump's return to office celebration, people lost it. It wasn't just about who he was performing for.
This isn't a campaign. This isn't an RNC. I'm not out on the political campaign. I didn't get none of that 1.5.
First of all, Nelly, congratulations for that 1.5 million you got for that show.
Does Nelly come back to St. Louis and visit?
Come on, man. He always say lose, but only at the casino. That's where he lose all his money at. And then he go down there on the dub and get his coat.
It was about what it meant. Trump's event was already stacked with country stars like Jason Aldean, Carrie Underwood, and Billy Ray Cyrus. But when Nelly stepped on that stage, on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, the internet exploded in outrage. Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram lit up instantly. People were calling him everything from a sellout to cheap entertainment. One angry fan posted, "Maybe he thinks he'll win over the crowd, but nah, bro, you just got played." Another said, "They made a fool out of you. You let us down. Your platform was power, now it's just noise."
So ain't nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the fuck one of you Uncle Tom still doing it. Which one of you gonna do it first? I was the one that performs for himself.
The betrayal hit deep because Nelly was one of the few hip-hop artists who broke barriers and crossed genres without losing his street respect. Seeing him perform for a man accused of dividing communities, that cut people to the core. And the timing made it worse. Martin Luther King Day, a day built on unity, respect, and equality. Yet here was Nelly, a black artist with massive influence, performing for someone many believe has disrespected those very values. Fans who grew up idolizing his swagger couldn't make sense of it.
To St. Louis and visit?
Come on, guy. He always say lose, but only at the casino. That's where he lose all his money at. And then he go down there on the dub and get his right, and he go over there on Shreve and get his perks, and then he go down there and get his X. He be at all the dope spots just getting and shit. Well, not so but he always get it on credit. Like he still don't get no money for that. Okay, everything he get off his love, off because he Nelly. That's what I'm not gonna know he up yet. That's what I want. But he need to give me my 50 million. That's what I'm. You saw he get caught with the XC, so you know I ain't cap. You saw that. Yeah, he go in St. Louis, get his little drugs, and go there and lose all his money to the casino. Right? That's what my 50 million at. My 50 million down there casino. Stop playing on me. Stop playing on me. Down, baby. Stop playing.
So Nelly spends all his money. Spent all his money. How are you gonna get your money from him if he's broke?
Casino. I want the Masters game. You don't get it. It ain't about the money. I want the Masters. I want what's mine. See, he ain't gonna be able to pay me. His card gonna decline, and when his card declines, the Masters is mine. Stop playing with me. That's what I want the house. I want everything. I want Ashanti, gang. Ashanti look good on me. Stop playing with me. How you think Ashanti and his son will look on me?
"This ain't the same Nelly we grew up on," one fan said. Then, boom, DL Hughley stepped in and dropped a bomb on Instagram. The outspoken comedian went off, saying what everyone else was thinking but didn't dare to say out loud. His caption hit like a punch to the gut. "That's what we doing now?" Trump propping up white supremacy ain't just his past, Nelly. It's who he still is today. With that one post, DL turned up the fire even more. What was supposed to be a celebration turned into a scandal.
He got some ways. That's not what I'm saying at all. That's why I'm not telling you who to vote for. But what I'm saying is that he's the president of the United States. He's not the candidate for the United States. He's the president. He won.
And suddenly, Nelly wasn't trending for his music anymore. He was trending for the one stage appearance nobody expected him to make. DL Hughley didn't just speak, he snapped, He reminded everyone about Trump's long trail of reckless comments, from his words on immigrants to his public praise for Daniel Penny, and all those years of racially charged statements that still haunt his legacy. DL wasn't just mad at Nelly's performance, he called it a betrayal, and he didn't stop there. He started name-dropping other rappers too, throwing shade at Snoop Dogg and others who once stood tall against Trump, but now seem quiet once the money starts talking. Then DL hit the internet with the question that lit social media on fire. What's that orange dude promising these artists? The post went viral instantly. Fans were eating it up, reposting it everywhere and adding their own theories. But DL wasn't done stirring the pot. He doubled back with another post, this time going straight for Trump's taste in performers. He only picks artists who won't scare the white folks, he wrote, throwing even more gasoline on the situation. He pointed out that rappers like Kodak Black, Lil Pump, and Waka Flocka had already been used by Trump's camp as political props, saying now it's Nelly's turn to be the safe face for diversity. And that's when DL dropped the line that broke the internet. It says something when you can make a man who once spoke out against you perform for you. I guess the price was right. That quote exploded everywhere. Within hours, blogs, news sites, and podcasts were all speculating how much Trump paid Nelly for the performance. Was it $100,000? $500,000? A full million? And just like that, the conversation flipped. From politics to Nelly's pockets. Fans started digging, and what they found wasn't pretty. The deeper they looked, the worse it got. People started unearthing old reports about Nelly's money struggles, rumors about tax problems, gambling habits, and dropping income over the years. Suddenly, the flashy performance looked less like a business move and more like desperation in disguise. This was the same man who once ruled the charts with 21 million albums sold, a diamond plaque for country grammar, and an endless list of hits. Hot in Hera, Ride With Me, Dilemma. Nelly was once hip-hop's golden boy, blending rap and pop like nobody else. But now, fans were questioning if the empire had cracked. One user tweeted, "Maybe he just doing what he gotta do to keep them lights on," while another said, "Nah, this ain't survival, it's a sellout move." The internet split in half, some defending him, others dragging him for filth. What was supposed to be a simple show had turned into a full-blown public trial over loyalty, race, and money. And when people started pulling up old financial headlines, things got even uglier. Rumors spread that Nelly owed close to $1 million in unpaid taxes, and that's before the whispers about personal loans and legal fees. The same man who once ruled the early 2000s was now being accused of drowning in debt. Back in the day, Nelly wasn't just another rapper. He was the rapper. His debut album, Country Grammar, went diamond. He had 4 number ones, 1 singles, and his music ran the radio. But in 2025, it looked like the man who once sang, "It's getting hot in here," was now feeling the heat for real. And this time, it had nothing to do with the dance floor. Nelly once stood on top of the rap game, multiple number 1 albums, diamond records, and enough hits to make him one of the best-selling rappers in American history. But even with all that success, the IRS doesn't care about platinum plaques. After years of staying quiet on the music scene, Nelly tried to make a big return in 2021 with his comeback album Heartland, but it didn't land like his old classics. It barely reached number 45 on the Billboard 200. For a man who used to dominate every chart, that was a hard fall. Then came the real hit, a financial bombshell. The IRS filed a federal tax lien against him for over $2.4 million. That means every dollar he earned could get snatched by Uncle Sam before it even touched his account. For someone who was once reportedly worth $40 million, this was a massive reality check. And it didn't stop there. The state of Missouri piled on too, claiming he owed another $150,000. Fans were stunned. How could a global superstar with 21 million album sales and decades of hits end up fighting the IRS like a regular guy trying to catch up on bills? Then the whispers turned into headlines. Rumors about his gambling habits started spreading fast. People close to Nelly said he had a soft spot for poker tables, and not just casually. He was a regular at casinos from St. Louis to Las Vegas, even showing up at the 2007 World Series of Poker. But when reports dropped, showing his total winnings over all those years added up to only about $5,000. Fans were shocked. Imagine gambling for years, dropping way more than you ever made. That kind of math never ends well. When you mix that with a celebrity lifestyle, luxury homes, high-end cars, designer fits, and constant parties, the bills start stacking quick. And when word spread about his tax problems, the internet actually tried to save him. Back in 2016, fans started a hashtag Save Nelly campaign, begging people to stream Hot and Hairy millions of times to help him pay off his tax debt. It was one of the wildest fan movements ever. People genuinely thought streaming his hit could rescue his bank account. But experts broke the math down fast. It would take more than 400 million streams just to cover that $2.4 million IRS debt. That's not just hard, it's impossible. The truth was, no amount of Spotify love was gonna save him from the hole he was in. That's when Nelly had to make a major move. In 2023, he made headlines again, this time for selling half his music catalog to Harborview Equity Partners for a reported $50 million. On the surface, it looked like a massive win, a power move. But not everyone was convinced. Fans and insiders started questioning the timing, saying it felt less like a business flex and more like a survival play. Some said he cashed out just to dig himself out of a deep financial pit. And when reports came out that his net worth had dropped from $40 million to around $8 million, the internet lost it again. People said that kind of catalog deal doesn't scream success. It screams desperation. Nelly had built a career off confidence and charm, but by 2025, it looked like the man who once had everything might have been fighting just to stay afloat. Just when people thought Nelly's situation couldn't get any messier, boom, things went from bad to worse. Headlines broke that he'd been arrested in Missouri for substance possession, right after hitting a $50,000 jackpot on a slot machine. Yeah, you heard that right. The man hit it big and still ended the night in handcuffs. According to the police report, Nelly was celebrating the win when officers searched him and allegedly found illegal material. Luckily for him, he dodged jail time this round, but the damage was done. Fans were side-eyeing heavy. They couldn't ignore that this wasn't just a random casino visit. Nelly had a reputation for being a regular at those machines. Soon, the internet crowned him the Casino King, and not in a good way. It became a warning sign that his gambling problem had spun completely out of control. Suddenly, DL Hughley's claim about Nelly performing for a paycheck didn't sound so far-fetched anymore. The whole situation hit different, knowing that the IRS, the state, and his gambling habits were all closing in at once. Social media detectives started connecting the dots, years of tax liens, lost income, and casino habits, and decided the Trump show might have just been his way of snatching up a quick payday before things got worse. One user on X, formerly Twitter, wrote, "Nelly got a massive gambling problem and needed a huge bag immediately." Another added, "Man went broke, begged fans to stream his old music, and now he's performing for MAGA to stay relevant." The internet wasn't pulling any punches. But it wasn't just random fans throwing shade. Industry insiders started chiming in too. Some said it wasn't about politics or loyalty at all. It was about survival. After years of fading from the spotlight, Nelly needed a moment that would make people talk again. And performing for Trump, well, that sure got the world talking. Still, others warned that chasing controversy for a check could come with a heavy price. Once your name gets tied to the wrong headline, it's hard to clean it up. The man who once stood for Midwest pride and smooth swagger now had people questioning what he really represented. Was this just business, or was it desperation? The internet made sure nobody forgot the story. Memes, think pieces, and YouTube breakdowns flooded every corner of social media. Nelly had turned his career into a gamble of its own. Every move looked like a bet he couldn't afford to lose. After weeks of chaos, Nelly finally said, "Enough." He decided to face the noise head-on and clear the air. He sat down on Willie D Live, the podcast hosted by one of the OG Ghetto Boys, and addressed everything directly. Sitting calm but clearly frustrated, Nelly spoke his truth. He told Willie D that his performance at Trump's event wasn't about money, and that people were twisting the whole thing. According to Nelly, it was never political. It was just business. He said music was supposed to bring people together, not divide them. Performing for a crowd, he explained, doesn't mean you stand for what they believe in. He insisted that for him, it was all about the music, nothing more. But instead of calming the storm, his words did the exact opposite. They set off another wave of backlash, especially when he went a step further and started defending Trump. Nelly claimed the media exaggerated everything and that Trump wasn't as bad as people made him out to be. That statement lit the internet up again. Fans who remembered his old interviews were stunned. Because back in 2017, during a Page 6 interview, Nelly had said something completely different. At the time, he joked that he liked Trump as a businessman, but not as a president. He was clear about not supporting Trump's leadership or policies. So when people compared that old clip to his new comments on Willie D Live, the switch-up looked bad, real bad. The timeline didn't add up, and fans felt like they were watching their childhood hero rewrite history on camera. Some said he was trying to smooth things over with a new audience, while others thought he just didn't care anymore. Either way, the damage was done. The man who once had the world dancing to Hot in Hera was now stuck in a storm of controversy, where every word, every move, and every performance was being dissected by millions. And no matter how calm he looked on that podcast mic, the world could tell Nelly was fighting battles way bigger than music. "I like Donald Trump," Nelly once said in an old interview. "I just don't like Donald Trump as my president." Dude is a trip. Pre-presidency, I was cool with him, loved his hotels. I'm more or less mad that I can't stay at his hotels now. That was 2017 Nelly talking, back when his tone was light and the drama was low. But fast forward to now, and that same man who once cracked jokes about Trump's leadership was standing on Trump's stage, performing and defending him publicly. Fans were stunned. It felt like a full circle flip no one saw coming. Some fans said flat out that Nelly had sold his soul for a check. Others tried to defend him, suggesting maybe he was just rebuilding connections with the right people in power. But the majority of the hip-hop community wasn't buying his explanation, not even a little bit. His calm tone on Willie D Live didn't match the chaos his decisions were causing online. DL Hughley wasted no time jumping back into the mix. The comedian doubled down, reposting his original rant with a savage new caption, "I said what I said." It's embarrassing watching a man who once had a voice now dance for approval. Then he twisted the knife deeper, saying it was sad to see someone with Nelly's legacy defending a man who openly disrespected people who look like him. Harsh words, but a lot of people agreed. Still, not everyone came for Nelly. Rap legend Trick Daddy decided to step in and defend him, and his take flipped the conversation on its head. Trick went live on Instagram and said, "Y'all acting like this personal when it's business." First of all, congrats to Nelly for that $1.5 million check he got for that performance. I wish they'd call me too. He went on to say that if his worst enemy offered that kind of money, he'd take the deal without hesitation. "It's not about politics. It's about feeding your family," Trick said proudly. To him, it was simple math. Money talks. But that defense, it only added more fuel to the fire. Some said Trick Daddy just proved DL Hughley's point, confirming that Nelly really did take the Trump stage purely for the payday. Others argued that every artist has the right to secure the bag, especially in an industry where fame fades quick and bills never stop coming. Still, social media couldn't stop debating it. Comments were split down the middle, some saying Nelly was just hustling to survive, others calling him a sellout who forgot where he came from. One user wrote, "Nelly used to be for the people. Now he's just for whoever's cutting checks." Another said, "Man, this ain't selling out, it's surviving." The industry don't care about loyalty. The back and forth was endless. People even started comparing him to rappers like Kodak Black and Lil Pump, artists who also supported Trump but didn't get hit with the same level of hate. But fans argued that Nelly's case was different. See, he wasn't known for political stunts or chasing controversy. He was the people's champ, the Midwest hero who made clean, feel-good hits and repped his city with pride. So when he stepped into the political spotlight and defended someone many viewed as divisive, it hit harder, it felt personal. There was a deep sense of disappointment across the hip-hop community. like watching one of their golden boys make a move that didn't fit the man they grew up respecting. Some said it wasn't just the performance, it was the defense afterward that hurt. Because instead of taking accountability or admitting it was just a business decision gone wrong, Nelly doubled down and tried to justify it. That's what made it sting even more. But you can't deny one thing. He got everyone talking. Nelly's name was suddenly back in every headline, every podcast, every trending topic. After years of being off the radar, he was trending again. Clips of his Trump performance were going viral across X, Instagram, and TikTok, racking up millions of views. Some insiders said it was a strategic PR stunt, a way to reignite interest in his brand. After all, controversy gets clicks, and clicks bring relevance. Others weren't so forgiving. They saw it as a desperate attempt to stay in the game, a last-minute roll of the dice to keep his career alive. Either way, the move worked. Nelly was back in the spotlight, even if the light was scorching. But then came the question everyone was asking. Was it worth it? Sure. Maybe he walked away with a 7-figure bag, but at what cost? His fan base was split right down the middle. For some, Nelly will always be the St. Louis icon who gave them timeless hits like Dilemma and Ride With Me. But for others, he's now the rapper who stood on stage for Trump and defended him when no one asked him to. That performance became more than a concert, it became a symbol. At the end of the day, this whole saga showed one brutal truth. Fame, loyalty, and money don't always play nice together. In 2025, it's not enough to just make good music. You gotta navigate politics, public opinion, and personal survival all at once, under the same burning spotlight. And while Nelly may have walked away with a check, he also walked straight into one of the biggest controversies of his career. Now the question isn't whether he got paid, it's whether he can ever win back the people who once called him one of hip-hop's realest. Thanks for watching until the end. Don't forget to subscribe and see you in the next video.